Good morning, my friends, fellow YouTubers, viewers. I appreciate you dropping into my vlog today. I thought I'd tell a little story, it's not much of one, something I was thinking about a while ago, and it kind of leads into honesty, a life lesson on honesty. First, I'm going to show you this little goody grubber. Wife ordered it in one of these hobby shops or something the other day. You can build your own birdhouse, and I think that's cool. I mean, I can go down in the shop and cut pieces of wood and make my own birdhouse from scratch. I've done it plenty of times. This one here, all you got to do is assemble it. Got the instructions right on the back. Screw it together. Comes with paint. Maybe we'll do a little video on the birdhouse and see how it comes out. Comes with some little containers of paint to paint the design on the front of it. Something to do, just a little something to tinker with. So we're going to build ourselves a wooden birdhouse. Sure some little bird would appreciate it. But my story today, like I said, kind of deals with a lesson in honesty. Where do I start? Twice in my lifetime, I found people's wallets, billfolds. Once up in Marietta, we lived there. Coming back from the lake and pulling my boat, we'd been fishing all day. I see a man's billfold in the middle of the highway. I stop and pick it up. I don't pay no attention to it. I throw it in the back seat. When I get home, bring it in the house and look, and it's full of money, got credit cards and stuff in it. Now, how many people would return that wallet? I'm the type of person that will. But how do you return it? What I did was call the Cobb County Police and say I found a wallet. And an officer came by and I gave it to him so it would be returned to the guy. Because the way I look at it, somebody worked hard for the money that was in that wallet, and it's their property, even if they did lose it. Most people, well, I don't say most people, a lot of people would just say, nobody will know. Keep the money. Nobody will know. The problem is, I will know. And what I think of myself is more important to me than anything else. Another instance that happened, it was just a couple of years ago, well, more than a couple of years ago, 10, 15 years ago, my son James was graduating from boot camp up in Great Lakes, Illinois. That's where I went to boot camp when I was in the Navy. So we hitched a ride on a big old Boeing 747 or whatever kind of plane it was. Went off to Chicago and watched the boy graduate from boot camp. We were staying at a Holiday Inn and I was driving a rental car. And there was snow on the ground. As I turned to go into this Holiday Inn, I see a lady's billfold laying in the highway. The traffic wasn't bad, so I stopped and got it. It was, you know, women's pocket billfolds could be really fat. They jam everything in there with the kitchen sink in their pocketbook. I walk in the lobby of this hotel, and it's ran by people from foreign country. I don't know them. I don't know whether they're honest people or not. I said, I found a lady's wallet out here in the highway. I'll take it, I'll take it. But the guy wanted it just a little bit too bad. And I said, no, you won't. What do you mean you won't? I said, I'd like you to call the police and have them send an officer out here. And I'll be sitting right over here in your lobby in this chair. Wait till he gets here. Because this belongs to somebody, and I want to make sure they get it back. The problem in my way of thinking was, if I give it to these people, what's to stop them from taking the lady's money, throwing it away, or else turning it in and claiming that some redneck guy from Georgia turned it in, but there wasn't no money in it when they gave it to me. I feel more secure knowing that the best way to do something is the right way. So anyway, we waited till the Chicago policeman comes. Well, the Chicago policeman didn't come to me. They sit over there and have a little powwow at the desk where you sign into the hotel, and the foreign guy's pointing over there towards me, and I don't know what he's saying, but I got the impression that I had made him angry. I didn't trust him. You don't trust people. It's just a fact of life. From time to time, you gotta learn to deal with people, and you can't trust them all. A lot of people would tell me, "Oh, you should have kept that lady's money." I ain't keeping diddly. Anyway, the officer comes over to me. I get out my pencil and paper, and the officer said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm writing your badge number down. And your name is wearing a tag." I said, "Officer Jones," that wasn't his name, whatever it was. "Here's this lady's billfold, and it's got lots of money in it. It's got credit cards. I want you to see to it this lady gets it back." Well, I had him between a rock and a hard place. If he's a dishonest cop, they don't know who I am. I could be somebody checking on me. Most likely, most cops are honest, and it would have got returned. But I made sure that it got returned. It wasn't an hour. Our phone in our room rang, and it was the lady who owned the pocketbook, thanking me for returning her billfold. What she had done was laid it on the trunk of her car when she was getting gas, and pumping gas in her car, and forgot it was there, and as she drove off, it probably stayed on her car for miles before it finally fell off and landed in the highway. She would have never got it again. And my question to you is, how many people would be honest enough to return the money? And if you didn't return it, how would you feel about yourself? I wouldn't be able to, I could live with myself, but I wouldn't like it. Something like that would nag me from now on. Makes you feel better about yourself when you do something that's honest like that. I really can't get to the point of my story except, I guess my opinion, honesty is the best policy as far as I'm dealing with, as far as it comes to me. Oh, one more story on finding things. I was coming home from work one day up there in Atlanta. I worked at the railroad then. I see this big old yellow case in the road, huge thing, like a huge suitcase looking thing, only it's square. And I was driving a pickup truck, and traffic was really heavy, but I snagged it with my door open and threw it in the back of the truck. Got home and opened up that big old yellow box. And it was some kind of electronic equipment. It looked like it cost thousands of dollars. Well, nowadays, with this modern technology, that same piece of equipment probably could be put in a little box no bigger than this, or whatever the technician used it for. It had all kind of knobs and switches, doodads on it. I certainly didn't know what it was or began to know how to use it. So it had a phone number on it, and I forget which company it was, Western Electric or AT&T or somebody. I called them up and said, "I found one of your machines out here. We don't have no record of no machine missing." I said, "Well, I got one of your machines here, and it looks like some technician is going to be missing his equipment. Probably fell off his truck. We don't have no record of it." So this was one case where they didn't care. What am I going to do with this thing? Well, still got to live with yourself. Are you going to keep that thing or what? Next day, when I drove into work in Atlanta, I took it with me. Stopped at one of the precincts of the Atlanta Police Department. Went in there, asked them what the lost and found department was. What do you got to do to return something you find? And I filled out all the forms or whatever they had for turning it in. And went on to work. Well, a day or so later, them AT&T people calling me back wanting to know where their machine was. I said, I tried to return your machine. You claimed me you wasn't missing one. What'd you do with it? I said, I turned it into the Atlanta Police Department. If you want your machine, go down there and get it. But anyway, kind of got off the beaten path there on the story. My question is, what would you do when you find stuff? Do you keep it or do you return it, or what would you do? Thanks for listening to my vlog. I appreciate you dropping by.